Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Hello, Jays Nation. Welcome back to your go-to channel, Toronto Blue Jays News Network, the home of real Blue Jays updates, real breakdowns, and real passion for our Blue Army. Today, we've got three absolutely jam-packed updates about our Toronto Blue Jays that surfaced just a few hours ago. And trust me, these are the kind of updates that can shape the future of this franchise. From a major international commitment by one of our all-stars to a very interesting pitching decision by the front office, and finally, a deep dive into the biggest contract questions surrounding this team. This video has it all, so if you are a true Jays fan, you definitely don't want to miss a second of this one. And yes, before we get started, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because this is where Blue Jays fans stay informed first. All right, let's jump straight into update number one. Update 1, Alejandro Kirk commits to Team Mexico. What it means for the Blue Jays in 2026. Jays fans, this one is big and it carries international importance. Toronto Blue Jays all-star catcher Alejandro Kirk has officially committed to representing Team Mexico in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And this is a massive development for both the player and the organization. Now, this isn't just a feel-good story. This decision has real implications for the Blue Jays moving forward. Kirk was actually supposed to participate back in 2023, but had to withdraw at the last moment due to the birth of his child. This time, however, everything is aligned, and he's ready to wear his country's colors on the world stage. And make no mistake about it, this is a well-deserved honor. Coming off one of the best seasons of his career, Kirk reminded everyone exactly why he's such a crucial piece of this Blue Jays lineup. In the 2025 season, he posted a .282 batting average, a .348 on-base percentage, and a .421 slugging percentage. He drove in 76 runs, scored 45 times, and launched 15 home runs while striking out just 59 times, a testament to his elite contact ability. He also posted a 2.3 baseball reference wins above replacement, showing his overall impact on both sides of the ball. And here's the key part, Jays fans. That performance was a major reason Toronto made such a strong postseason push in 2025. Now, with that momentum, Kirk will head into the World Baseball Classic playing alongside stars like Randy Arozarena and Jarren Duran, giving Team Mexico one of the most dangerous lineups in the tournament. From a Blue Jays perspective, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's incredible experience. Competing against the world's best only sharpens a player's edge, especially someone as competitive as Kirk. On the other hand, it does add extra wear and tear before a long Major League Baseball season. But here's the positive spin, and this is important. Kirk looked more confident, more disciplined, and more explosive at the plate in 2025 than he had in years. His improved conditioning, better pitch selection, and leadership behind the plate were noticeable night after night. If he carries that confidence into international play, it could elevate him to another level entirely heading into the 2026 season. And let's be honest, the Blue Jays need that version of Alejandro Kirk if they want to stay competitive in the American League. This isn't just about national pride. This is about a player stepping into his prime at the perfect moment. Update 2. Blue Jays make a quiet but brilliant pitching move, and it could change everything. All right, Jays Nation, this next update might not be grabbing headlines like a superstar signing, but make no mistake, this could turn out to be one of the smartest long-term decisions the Toronto Blue Jays have made in quite some time. The Blue Jays have officially signed Josh Winkowski to a 2-year minor league contract, and at first glance, this might seem like a low-impact move, but once you dig deeper, this decision gets very interesting. Winkowski, now 27 years old, is no stranger to this organization. In fact, he was originally drafted by the Blue Jays back in the 2016 MLB draft before being moved in a trade that eventually sent him to Boston. He made his major league debut with the Red Sox in 2022. And while he began his career as a starter, he has mostly worked out of the bullpen over the past 3 seasons. Across 121 major league appearances, he owns a 4.20 earned run average with 195 strikeouts in over 240 innings. Now, here's where things get interesting. The Blue Jays are not bringing him in as a reliever. According to reports, Toronto's plan is to convert Winkowski back into a starting pitcher once he fully recovers from internal brace surgery, an operation he recently underwent. And yes, that is a bold move, but it's also a calculated one. This type of contract structure is usually reserved for pitchers the organization believes can contribute long-term. It gives Winkowski financial security while allowing the Blue Jays to carefully manage his workload during recovery. And if you're wondering why Toronto would do this now, look at the bigger picture. Both Kevin Gausman and Shane Bieber are set to hit free agency after the 2026 season. That creates a massive question mark in the future rotation. Instead of scrambling later, the Blue Jays are quietly preparing their next wave of arms. Now add in the fact that Toronto already has Bowden Francis, Trey Yesavage, Cody Poteet, and possibly Jose Barrios in the mix. And suddenly this move makes perfect sense. This isn't about 2026 alone. This is about building stability for 2027 and beyond. And let's not forget, Winkowski still has untapped upside. He throws a heavy sinker, generates ground balls, and with proper development could absolutely transition back into a rotation role. Toronto's pitching development staff has had success reviving careers before, and this could be their next project. So while this signing may not trend on social media, don't be surprised if it becomes one of those moves we look back on and say, yeah, that's when it all started to come together. Update 3, the Bo Bichette contract dilemma, why Toronto must pay the price. All right, Jays Nation, this is the one that everyone has been waiting for. The calendar has officially flipped to 2026, and yet one of the biggest questions in Major League Baseball remains unanswered. What is going to happen with Bo Bichette? Right now, Bo Bichette is still a free agent, and that alone should tell you just how complicated this situation has become. Let's break this down carefully because the numbers, the performance, and the timing all matter here. Coming off the 2025 season, Bichette reminded the baseball world exactly who he is as a hitter. He posted a .310 batting average, a .357 on-base percentage, and a .483 slugging percentage while driving in 94 runs, hitting 18 home runs, and smashing 44 doubles. Offensively, elite. But defensively, and this is where things get complicated, the numbers tell a different story. Bichette recorded -3 outs above average at shortstop, and his sprint speed dropped into the 21st percentile. That decline in athleticism has raised serious questions about how long he can remain at shortstop long term. And then there's the injury history. For the second straight season, Bichette missed time due to a lower body injury, including the final stretch of the regular season and the first 2 rounds of Toronto's playoff run after suffering a knee injury at home plate. So now the Blue Jays face a massive decision. Do they pay for the elite bat and leadership, or do they hesitate because of long-term durability concerns? According to league insiders, multiple teams have already checked in, including the Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs. Meanwhile, the market is being shaped by recent contracts like Willie Adams, 7 years, $182 million, Marcus Semien, 7 years, $175 million, Trea Turner, 11 years, $300 million based on age, production, and positional value. Most insiders believe Bichette is seeking around 8 years and roughly $220 million, and honestly, that number makes sense. Yes, his defense has declined. Yes, injuries are a concern, but what he brings offensively is incredibly rare in today's game. Bo Bichette is a high-contact hitter who thrives in big moments, handles elite pitching, and consistently produces with runners in scoring position. Those players do not grow on trees. And then there's the emotional side of this equation, one that matters more than people realize. Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. have grown up together in this organization. They came up together, they struggled together, they succeeded together. Bichette has openly said multiple times that he wants to spend his entire career alongside Vlad. And let's be real, when Bichette is healthy and locked in, it elevates Guerrero's game too. Chemistry matters, identity matters, continuity matters. If the Blue Jays let Bichette walk, they're not just losing a shortstop, they're potentially breaking the core of this franchise. Yes, the contract will be expensive. Yes, the later years might be risky, but if Toronto is serious about winning, truly serious, then this is the kind of deal contenders make because players like Bo Bichette don't come around often. and the teams that hesitate usually regret it. And there you have it, Jays Nation. 3 massive updates, all with huge implications for the future of the Toronto Blue Jays. From Alejandro Kirk representing Mexico on the world stage, to a quiet but smart pitching move with Josh Winkowski, to the high-stakes decision surrounding Bo Bichette's future, one thing is clear. This franchise is at a turning point. The moves made right now will define the next era of Blue Jays baseball. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is your home for real Toronto Blue Jays news every single day. Until next time, this is Toronto Blue Jays News Network signing off.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Look, the Blue Jays just made waves with the Akazuma Okamoto signing, and if you think they're done, you're dead wrong. Fresh reports just dropped about Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette, and what I'm seeing here is absolutely wild. The front office is moving different this year, and I need to break down exactly what's happening, because this could change everything for Toronto's lineup. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because things are moving fast and you don't want to miss any updates as this situation develops. So, Mitch Benson Smith just put out a report that's getting everyone talking. The Blue Jays have been staying in touch with representatives for Bichette, Kyle Tucker, and Alex Bregman throughout the winter. Now, here's the key part that everyone needs to understand. The Okamoto deal doesn't shut the door on more additions. But there's a catch. The Jays actually like their position player core even before adding Okamoto, so any new additions would likely need a corresponding move, probably a trade to make room. That's the reality of roster construction at this level. Multiple reports from Ben Nicholson Smith and others over the last day have been hammering home this trade angle. Before the Okamoto signing, there was talk about moves. After the signing, a trade is probably the most realistic path forward if they want to bring in another major piece. That's just how the math works when you're trying to balance playing time and roster spots. Now, Keegan Matheson, who's really plugged into the organization, said something that got my attention immediately. He doesn't view the Okamoto deal as taking the Blue Jays out of anything, Tucker and Bichette included. Think about what that means for a second. You can't be out of a market when you don't even know the cost yet. Everyone, Toronto included, is waiting on the right prices to materialize. And they're moving like a big market team now. And according to Matheson, they should keep that energy going. That's not the language you use when a team is finished spending. What's really interesting is we haven't seen the typical report that would pump the brakes on speculation. In previous years, when the Jays were done making moves, we'd get something from Sportsnet people saying they're pivoting to the bullpen or whatever. That hasn't happened. The silence is actually telling us something. They're still active, still looking, still trying to build something special. Another Benson report clarifies that signing Okamoto, who's expected to play significant time at third base, makes an Alex Bregman signing less likely. There was mutual interest between the Jays and Bregman before the Okamoto agreement, but here's what matters. They could still fit Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette into this lineup. It's not totally clear how Okamoto impacts their pursuit of another top bat, but the door isn't closed on either guy. The assumption now is Okamoto plays primarily third base with some time at first. Since he won Gold Gloves in Japan at that position, he can play first when Vlad needs to DH. You move Spencer Horwitz around, maybe trade him, and suddenly you've got flexibility. If Tucker comes in, he slots into left field, and maybe Nathan Lukes gets moved. If it's Bichette, he plays second base, and Ernie Clement becomes more of a utility piece. Either way, there's room if they want to make it work. Matheson wrote that Okamoto profiles best as a third baseman, which essentially takes Alex Bregman off the board. But he also mentioned that reuniting with Bichette would be interesting. However, the Jays and Tucker remain as clean a fit as ever. Toronto has long been considered one of the likeliest landing spots for Tucker, and for good reason. The fit is obvious when you look at the roster construction and what they need. Personally, I think Tucker makes more sense now than Bichette does. If Okamoto is your third baseman and you've got Bo Bichette at short, Where does Ernie Clement play consistently? Clement earned that playing time last year. He's not going to the outfield. You could use some utility pieces at second, even have Schneider play there occasionally, but it gets complicated. Tucker in left field, Dalton Varsho in center, Horwitz or Barger in right. That's a cleaner lineup configuration. Santander can DH most days, or you rotate Springer and Santander depending on the matchup. Against lefties, both of them can be in there. Against righties, Springer DHs, and you sit Santander. The versatility is there. Before the Okamoto signing, depth charts had Horwitz at third base with Clement splitting time between second and short. Now it's going to look different. If Horwitz moves to right field, Clement is your everyday second baseman. Maybe that makes it easier to pass on Bichette, save some money, and redirect those resources toward Tucker instead. Tucker in left, Varsho in center, Horwitz in right, Santander at DH. That's a legitimately elite outfield, arguably one of the best in baseball, depending on how everyone performs. Another report suggested that a reunion with Bichette could still happen, as could a Tucker deal. All these reports are pointing in the same direction. They're still pursuing Tucker. They're still open to Bichette. It's very clear at this point. But Tucker feels like the move that makes more sense given the roster as it's currently constructed. Okamoto can technically play outfield, but internally they view him as a third baseman. Put Tucker in left, and you've got one of the most dangerous offensive lineups in the American League, maybe in all of baseball. Some projections have Springer at DH, Tucker in right, Varsho in center, and Okamoto in left. That could work too. But I think the better configuration is Okamoto at third, Horwitz in right, Tucker in left, Varsho in center. Keep the rest of the lineup intact, and you've got balance from both sides of the plate, power, speed, defense, everything you need to compete at the highest level. One report made it clear that Toronto valued Okamoto highly enough to bring him in and figure out the rest later. That tells me something bigger is coming. They didn't make this move just to stop here. They're building towards something, and I think we're going to see another significant addition before spring training. They're probably out on Bregman now, which honestly I'm fine with. I always liked Okamoto more. He's cheaper, younger, and his contract increases the likelihood they can land one of the other big targets because the money works better. Think about the back-end money on Okamoto. It's around $15 million per year. That's less than half of what Bregman is going to get. Bregman's probably looking at 5 years and $30 million annually, maybe a bit less. Either way, Okamoto is a shorter commitment with no opt-outs. His ceiling is high, and his floor is even higher because of his contact skills. He doesn't strike out much, has excellent bat-to-ball ability, and walks at a solid rate. He's not going to be someone who struggles adjusting to major league pitching. What I love about the Okamoto signing is that it keeps them flexible. With his versatility defensively, they can still pursue Tucker or Bichette without forcing weird roster decisions. Give me Tucker. Make this an A++ offseason and position this team for a legitimate World Series run. After the support the fan base showed last year, even when things weren't going well, I think we've earned that kind of commitment from ownership and the front office. And based on everything I'm seeing, I genuinely believe they're going to deliver. These reports are incredibly encouraging. The Blue Jays aren't done. They're active on multiple fronts. Tucker or Bichette could realistically be added to this roster. And if they pull off one of those moves, we're talking about a completely different team than what we saw last season. I'll keep you updated every step of the way as more information comes out. This offseason has been something special already, and it might not be finished yet.